All right, this video lesson is on how to build a pool table. So this is more of an exercise than it is an actual lesson. We're going to be using a lot of the tools that we've learned, drawing type tools in Microsoft Word. So we're going to start by inserting a rounded rectangle. So from this menu, we're going to choose rounded rectangle, which is right here. Try to stay within your margins here when you're drawing the outside of your pool table. So that's big enough right there. Okay. Now the felt is going to be a regular rectangle, so I can grab the regular rectangle from there. The felt, of course, has to be smaller than the actual table, so that would be good right there. Now what I want to do is I want to center that felt, so I'm going to put my shift key down and select both items, and then my align button is here, so I'm going to align center, and I'm going to align middle, so those are perfectly aligned to one another. Next, I want to fill my pool table with a color. Now, rather than just use a basic color, I'd probably recommend that you use some kind of texture. You can make it out of marble if you want, or you can make it some kind of wood. So here I'll choose this dark wood. Nice. Next, you're probably going to want to do the same thing with your felt. Here, I'm just going to choose a regular color for a felt. I'll make it this blue, let's say, non-traditional pool table. There we go. Next, you're ready for your holes. So, back to insert, we're going to choose oval. In order to create a perfect circle, put your shift key down while you're dragging. Okay, so there's a perfect circle. Don't worry about positioning it too much just yet, but I'm just kind of sort of putting it where it might go. And it might be a little bit big. There we go. Now, you can also fill your circle with some kind of pattern. Okay, choose whatever pattern you'd like. I just want to make it look like a pocket. So I can choose this. I can even make it out of leather. So I can make it some kind of brown color, just to make it a little different. Now, once you have a perfect hole filled the color that you want and the size that you want, rather than try to reproduce this, we're just going to copy and paste it, right? So I'm just using my control key and I'm dragging, and then I can probably select all three with my shift key and then use my control key down again and then just bring those down. So now I've got 6 perfect holes. The next thing you need to do though is align these holes to one another. So these two need to be aligned left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on these two now, and I'm just going to do F4, which will align those two left, and then again align those two left. And then of course you have to align the ones to top so that they're all the same height. So I'm going to align those top, and then I'm going to click on the 3 on the bottom and do the same thing. And last thing you need to do is distribute these evenly so that the gap between the 3 is the exact same. So here I'm going to distribute horizontally, and the gap was way off on that one. And then I'm going to F4, and it was off on that one as well. So now your holes are aligned to one another, they're distributed perfectly, they're all the same size. This would be a really good time to just group this whole thing. So I'm going to go to Select, choose Select Objects, and I'm going to click and drag a rectangle around the whole thing. And then I'm going to, I used to right click and group for this. And I'm just double clicking on the table while it's all selected, and that brought up this menu. And then from there I have group, right here. So now that's one object. So if I move one thing, the whole thing moves, which is good because we're going to be moving lots of things and you don't want to make any mistakes once it's set. The next thing I want to do is this would be a really good time to save once again, of course. Now we're ready to start creating our individual balls. All right, so we're going to go to Insert. Once again, we're going to use the circle or the oval, and we're going to create a perfect circle. Put your shift key down. Now keep in mind, your balls need to be able to fit into your pockets, right? So make sure your balls are smaller than your pockets. My ball is probably a little bit big right now, so I'm going to put my shift key down and make it just a little bit smaller. You're going to need to zoom in as well at this point. We started at 70. I zoomed out. I also forgot to mention my page is landscaped. Oops, I hope you picked that up. So now what we need to do is create we have solids and we have stripes. The solids have a circle inside the circle. So I'm going to zoom in first of all. And I'm going to create another circle here. Now, since I already have a perfect circle, I'm just going to go Control, and now I have a perfect circle. This first circle is 0.55. So the next circle, I want it to be about half. So I want it to be about 0.275. So 0.27 would be fine. By 0.27. So now this circle is exactly half the size of this, and now I'm going to put it in here. Now you could put it right in the middle, but it doesn't matter because your balls, as they roll around, the numbers are going to shift around here and there. All right, and I'm not sure how that little guy ended up in back, so I'm going to bring it to the front. There we go. So now I've got a ball that's ready to be manipulated. I can put a number in there, but I'm not going to do that yet. At this stage, I would suggest that you select both circles and you copy and paste 7 times because you're going to have 8 solids. Now I'm only going to do 3 for the sake of brevity here. I don't want this video to go on forever. Once you've got that, you're now ready to put your numbers in your balls. Now the low balls are 1 to 8. Now the best way to insert numbers in here, I realize you can right click and add text, but it doesn't work real well for this because it's too small. So I'm recommending word art. The first one, the basic word art, and then just type 8 and then OK. Now your word art's probably going to end up here where mine ended up. First thing you need to do, go to the dog, make it friendly, ask that you can put it in front of text. Then you're going to need to size it so that it's proper. And then you need to move this thing into position. I'm going to need to zoom in some more here. So I'm just going to control and roll here. And now I need to make that 8 quite a bit smaller so that it fits in the circle nicely. And remember, it goes up to 13. So don't make it so that it just barely fits because you're going to have a tough time putting 13 and 15, goes up to 15, sorry, in there. Now I would also recommend that you fill that number with black as well, just so it looks better from up above. Right now I'm zoomed into 310. When I come out back to 70, I want to be able to see that that's the number 8. Once you've got your number perfect, rather than try to reproduce that once again, I would just Control and copy that to other balls. Okay? And I know what you're thinking. I need to change the number, and you do. Okay? So now I'm not sure how and why I lost that, but there we go. For some reason, that number 8 is going behind that circle. There we go. And we need to bring that circle back here and the number 8 back here. There we go. And now all you need to do here is right click and change the number. So go to Edit Text, and we need 1 to 8 for those. And of course, once you've got all your numbers in, you can then start coloring your balls. Now on your handout, there's a handout with this. Just check the same folder you got this video from. There's a handout with all the colors that you need to make every single ball, right? Don't make stuff up. There's a standard for everything. So the one ball is a yellow ball. For the stripe balls, what you're going to need to do is use the rounded rectangle. So I'm going to use a rounded rectangle here. I'm going to bring this across, and then you'll put your numbers in there. Now the numbers are probably going to need to be a little bit shorter on these. And the numbers start at 9, all right, 9 to 15 here. So you're going to have to do some adjusting, do some work. And we'll have to edit text here. I'm not sure whether the yellow ball is actually 11. You'll have to check the notes, okay? And I probably need to make that a little bit wider. There you go. I'm going to zoom out once again. See, from up above, it's going to need to look good as well. Towards the end, you might want to put some cues in here. A cue is quite simply a very skinny triangle. So I'm going to choose triangle, and I'm going to set it up here. And it's a very, very skinny triangle. Now, you're going to want to rotate this to put it on the table. It's not giving me the green node. If you ever draw something and you don't get the green node, it's because you're not zoomed in enough. Just zoom in some more, and at some point in time, the green node does come up, and that allows you to free rotate. And then you can take that cue and put it somewhere across the table. You can color your cue, of course. You can put a felt tip on your cue for those of you who want to get into real detail. You could add chalk somewhere on your table. You can add a triangle. You can put your balls in a triangle. Don't forget, some of the balls might actually go in the pocket. All right, so lots of detail available. Make it as detailed as you wish, but those are the basics that you need to know in order to complete this exercise.